prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into WGNS and the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzier, founder and executive director of First Shot. I welcome in a longtime friend, Shawn Wright, who's running for city council. Shawn, we're going to kind of back up a little bit. And, I met you through First Shot, and your son's coming to First Shot. I appreciate you supporting it. Let's talk about growing up, where you grew up, why is it?
Sure.
All of that.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me today, Andy. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the Roundtable. I'm Shawn Wright. I'm born and raised in Murfreesboro. My family goes back 7 generations in the area, so we've been here a long time. My family, one member or another, has owned a business downtown Murfreesboro for over 100 years in one business or another. And I'm a product of Murfreesboro City Schools. I went to Mitchell Nelson K through 6. I went to Cason Lane the first 2 years it was open for 7th and 8th. And that was the 7th grade year was wacky because the school wasn't done yet. So they put half the school in Black Fox's gymnasium and half the school in Northfield's gymnasium, and the whole half the school was in the gym for half the year. And then Oakland High School for high school, and then MTSU for undergrad, Memphis for graduate school, and UT for some postgraduate certifications. So I've got a publicly educated all the way postmasters. So I'm very proud of that. And my kids all publicly educated as well.
So let's Shawn, let's talk about your family. You have a new addition, and tell us how that came about. And
Sure. Laura and I have 3 beautiful biological sons. Jackson's 18, Spencer's 13, and Knox is 7. And a little over a year ago, I got a phone call from a friend of mine that said, "Hey, would you ever consider adopting a kid?" And my first thing, going with already 3 boys, my first question was, "Well, is it a girl?" And she goes, "No." And I go, "Well, probably not." And the next question was, "Can I at least tell you this kid's story?" And I go, "Well, sure." And told me the kid's story, and I have a tear in my eye, and I go, "Well, I'll at least talk to Laura about it." And so I called Laura, and the questions were almost exactly the same, and she goes, "Well, we'll at least meet the kid." And here we are, a little over 18 months, or almost 2 years later, and we've adopted him. He's one of ours, and now we have a 9-year-old boy named JD.
So again, a God story.
God story. And when God calls your name, you better answer that bell, or you're going to get hit.
So we talked a little bit about that. You've got 4 awesome young sons, and again, you and Laura have done a great job raising them. I'm glad to be a small part of it. And let's talk about your time because you don't miss a game or a function at Middle.
I don't miss anything.
You are a true blue,
Yep.
to the core fan.
Yep, I've got season tickets for football, men's basketball, and baseball. I've had the basketball tickets a long time. Actually, I've been going to basketball games. My uncle Taylor has had season tickets for basketball since the stadium opened in 1972. And between him and my dad and now me, I've been going to games since I was about 8 years old for MTSU basketball, and I've been going to football games probably just as long. So it's just natural. We go to all the. I think I was at every single game this season for men's basketball except for the very last one. I had to be out of town for business. And because I had been to every other game, Spencer, my 13-year-old, FaceTimed me at the last game while I was in Las Vegas at a business conference and just held the phone up. So he goes, "Well, you were here. You just weren't in the seat." So they gave me credit for perfect attendance this year.
That's awesome. So kind of switching gears here a little bit, let's talk about what issues are facing Murfreesboro.
So our major issues are very similar to what they were 4 years ago, and we've come a long way with those issues, and that's kind of why I'm running for re-election. I want to see those issues come to fruition. We've got a solid waste issue. We know Middle Point landfill is going to come to a close. The city of Murfreesboro is trying to fight expansion of the landfill, and we're looking at an alternative that is 90% green. Only 10% of the trash that we have come through would end up in the landfill. The other 20% of which would be recycled, and the other 70% would be turned into a renewable resource as either a coal burning alternative or a natural gas burning alternative that would be put directly in the natural gas system. I mean, a 90% green alternative to solid waste. And then traffic. I mean, I'm born and raised here. I remember when you could drive from one side of Murfreesboro to the other in about 10 or 12 minutes. You drive down Medical Center or Old Fort Parkway, you may be on that road for 30 minutes. And so in the last 4 years, I pushed for Medical Center to be widened. We got that approved and funded. We put seed money in with the state to get Old Fort Parkway widened, to get Highway 96 from Las Casas to Middle Tennessee widened, Memorial widened, and I've already mentioned Old Fort. And then we've already got Thompson Lane on the schedule to be done. We've got a Cherry Lane expansion coming. We're talking about over $100 million of road projects that we've approved and funded in the last 4 years. Now, as citizens of Murfreesboro, you don't see the fruits of that labor until those orange barrels come up, and I understand that. So I want to make sure those orange barrels actually come up.
So you're even talking, though, now it's really a partnership, because I think is Thompson Lane a city?
No, Thompson Lane, Memorial, 96, Old Fort Parkway are all state highways. So what we did was we fronted seed money to the state to make sure they got put higher on the list, to make sure those issues got resolved. Because as a city, we can't just go out and say, we want to improve Memorial Boulevard or Old Fort Parkway or Broad Street. Those are state highways. We had to give them some incentive to get those done.
So when you say seed money, what does that mean to?
That's front money to the state to get the project rolling. So we go, okay, state, we need these projects done. Here's some money, let's go.
So looking forward on those roads, when do you see the barrels going up? Do you have any insight in?
Well, look at Old Fort Parkway. We've already, the state's already got Veterans Parkway to the interstate completed. We're in the middle of engineering to go from Highway 99 to the interstate. That study's being done right now. 96 Memorial the same way. The bridge that's going to connect River Rock and Beasy Road where Costco is, that's almost ready to completion, almost ready to have cars on it. Highway 99, Salem Highway, if you drive out there from 96 until the interstate, that's graveled and almost ready to asphalt, so that'll be ready to roll. And so you're actually seeing a lot of progress. Now, I know 99 seems like it's been forever. It's almost like Briley Parkway in Nashville. I think it's been under construction longer than it's been built. But it's almost ready to asphalt and drive on. And so you're starting to see these orange barrels moving. You're starting to see those cars starting to move. Medical Center Parkway the same way. I've got a lot of calls about orange barrels and traffic during rush hour because the road expanding. Once that gets moving, it's got 6 lanes. It's going to move a lot better.
I think what some of us don't understand is the construction process. To me, 99 out in front of CUD and all of that, out in front of the jail, you're moving a ton of stuff underneath the ground.
That's right. Sewer, water,
electric, gas.
That's right.
All of it.
That's right. And you have to buy the right-of-ways, the easements, and all that to do the project. It's not as simple as, hey, we're going to tear the road up and re-put a new road down. We're actually putting stuff underneath the ground to make it work also, utilities and everything like that.
So you also got Cherry Lane that's going to connect to 840. When will that start, do you think?
So we just approved, we had to reroute it a little bit because of some wetlands. That was approved a couple months ago. That engineering work's ongoing. You should start seeing that move probably into this year, first of next year, that first phase. And
what will that give traffic? What's the...
So that'll take pressure off of Thompson Lane because a lot of those people that are commuting from Smyrna or Laverne or Nashville that are coming back to Murfreesboro, whether you work at Nissan or Bridgestone or downtown and you take 41 in, that road is going to take a lot of pressure off of Broad Street and Thompson Lane because you could get off at Cherry Lane and take Cherry Lane around to 231 instead of having to come all the way into town to take Thompson Lane to 231. So that'll take a lot of pressure off both Broad Street and Thompson Lane.
So you also got Northfield going through. When will
on the backside of backside of Northfield. So Rutherford Boulevard will cross over 24 and connect to Warrior Drive. So that'll take pressure off of 99 and South Church on this downtown side of Church Street. So these road projects should do a lot to alleviate traffic all over town. When we use some of the MED money from the MED sale to front some of this money. And our goal was to have a major road project on all four sides of town. That way, all four sides of town could get a benefit of that road money.
So, again, we moved to the lake for 3 years, my wife and I, and we've moved back. And she told me, because I'm one of those not patient guys,
right,
beeping my horn. She goes, "You can't beep your horn. We're going back. It's going to be traffic." It's still going to be traffic, Shawn. It is. We have a town that's growing.
That's right.
And so I always say if I'm beeping my horn, I'm being selfish. So I just got to add an extra 5-10 minutes to my drive, and it is what it is. I mean, we're going to live in a town that has all these things going in a positive direction. You're gonna have some pains.
Yeah, and like I've told people, I love where Murfreesboro's been. I love where it's at, and I love the direction that we're heading. So we're headed in the right direction. And these infrastructure projects, one of the best and worst things about an infrastructure project is they solve problems, but by the time the problem's solved, it's already gotten worse. So it's like the never-ending story. Traffic, it's going to be there, but that's one of our main jobs, is to try to stay ahead of the issue.
All right, change gears. Let's go back to the trash problem that we're going to have if we continue on the same pace. How do we turn and go to this 90% green? And what's it going to cost?
So we're way ahead of it. It's going to be a private partnership, and the private entities, they're doing the heavy lifting on the money. So our trash can pickup now costs about $11.25 a can per month, and if we were just trying to break even, it would be at about 18 right now. So there's a loss there for the city, and I understand it used to be free, just in the nature of the business. Everything's gone up. This new product initially will have an even higher cost, probably about $35 a can. But the cool thing about this product is, as that renewable energy starts being sold and getting recouped, those costs can come back down. And there would be a hope of mine that we could get it back to nearly free or cheaper than it is now. Because once you start selling that natural gas into the Atmos pipelines, once you start selling that coal burning alternative to coal plants and concrete kilns, there needs to be a benefit to the citizens. And so we need to make sure that we're pushing the right direction to save the citizens money.
Well, awesome. My next one is kind of near and dear to probably you, because your wife is a teacher. I'm a teacher at heart. Give us an update on our city schools and where we're going, and what do you see we need to improve on?
So the city schools has got such a cool philosophy. And I'm a product of the city schools. Like I said, K through 8 in the city schools, all 3 of my kids in the city schools. Their philosophy on teaching is different than the county. And from the city's point of view, we build schools when we need schools. So you don't see a city school with portables everywhere. We build a school when we need a school. We've got a school site on the west side of town on the same lot as our Veterans Parkway Park. So we'll have a school lot right next to it. So with the next school we build, we know where it's going to go. So we've got to stay ahead of that. We've got to stay ahead of how do we educate these kids? How do we move forward, changing times, and keep that good philosophy that Murfreesboro City Schools has always had.
Well, again, Nick, what other issues are facing Murfreesboro?
So I mean, we're always chasing that rabbit of growth, and how to grow smart, how to avoid the potholes of growth and avoid that growth thing. Another issue we've got is changing our housing mix. There's nothing wrong with apartments. Everybody's lived in an apartment at some point in their life, probably. But we probably at this point have too many apartments. We're at about 34-35% apartment doors. And when you look at what we've built and approved over the years, we've got more apartments coming online than we do single family houses, attached or detached. we've got to move that number back, and a healthy number for apartments is somewhere in the 25-26% range. So if we keep approving apartments at a higher rate than we're approving single family housing, that ratio gets bad. And the reason why this is important, and it's not just apartments, it's rental properties overall, and there's nothing wrong with rental properties. When you have a high percentage of rental doors to home ownership doors, in an economic downturn, people will move to where jobs are. There's nothing there when they're in a rental property to hold them to your area. So if we had a 2008 again, and we have 48-49% rental doors or higher, then there's nothing holding all these people back from moving somewhere else. So we've got to move towards a 25%-ish number on apartments to total housing to start moving those numbers back down. And so that's something I'm very proud of. Over the last 3 years, we've only had 3 apartment projects be approved on the council, and I voted against one for 3 years straight. Clary Park came in front of us. I voted against it also on the first run because it was going to be like 350 apartment doors or 400 apartment doors. They had native rights to build 488. Without even coming to city council, they could have built 488 apartments on that property without even coming in front of us. We got them down to 300 apartment doors, and we got Main Street, our main event. We got a bunch of restaurants coming in. We've got a lot of commercial coming in. So there's a cost exchange to it. They got 300 doors instead of 488. We got a lot of retail, some amenities, some convenience. And so that's one. I voted against it on first run. We came back. They got a lot better project on the second run. TDK's project, there's a Trader Joe's and a corporate headquarters office going on that piece of property. That whole gateway area was built to create corporate headquarter opportunities. We have a corporate headquarter opportunity there and a Trader Joe's, which everybody in Murfreesboro seemed to have wanted. So there's some trade-off there. And then this downtown project, I just feel that it was the wrong project at the wrong time. I hope all of my fellow council members were correct and they can tell me I told you so. I just didn't like the project. I didn't like that we were selling city land to an apartment developer to build an apartment when most of our citizens don't want any more apartments. So I just think that was the wrong time and the wrong thing, but I hope my fellow council members were right and they can tell me I told you so.
So when you say that, is it just because of the apartments that you didn't like the bottoms or the...
No, so we got 2 different projects. So on this side of Broad Street where we are, 239 apartments, 30,000 square foot of retail, 80 to 100 hotel doors, and 80 to 100 condos. I didn't like the mix. My main concern was that we were selling city property to an apartment developer when the average person doesn't want any more apartments. Just to me, we got to listen to our citizens and say, if the average person doesn't want any more apartments, why are we selling our own land to an apartment developer? I think if it's our land, we should be able to say, this is the project we want, let's go with that direction. And if you don't want to build what we want, we don't have to sell you the piece of land. The Bottoms property, with the opening of the water, that's a needed property. I think it's going to be gorgeous. Splash pad, walking trails, connect Cannonsboro and the Greenway. I think that's a wonderful project.
So 2 different projects, 2 different thoughts. With the over on the other side, how do we get affordable housing back? You're a realtor.
I'm a realtor, and I represent regular families, regular people, and small businesses trying to find their locations. Affordable housing is so hard because the cost of land is so high, the cost of build is so high, the cost of labor is so high. So everything is so expensive. So it's it's counter to affordable housing because all the inputs are so high that it's hard to make something affordable. So the best way to make it affordable is to make things more dense. Which is why the new starter home or the new first-time home buyer is buying a townhouse now, because to get that affordable house, you have to go with density, and density creates that affordability, and that's what just the new nature of the beast is. A townhome is what you or I would have bought as a first-time home as a 1,300 square foot single family. That's now a townhome just because of density, because of inputs being so high and land being so high and everything like that. That's the new alternative.
Yeah, it's cheaper to build up.
Right.
But you know, I look at it when I got into the mortgage industry after being fired from college coaching, and I look back and, you know, the average loan was $125,000. The average price of it was $135,000. You know, because you're doing a lot of FHA, and now it's to the point with the interest rates and everything. I that's my biggest concern is where is affordable housing for the 25 to 35 age group.
And Franklin dealt with this about 25 years ago, and Franklin's going, what are we supposed to do? And I mean, it just took off in Franklin and went totally the opposite direction of affordable. And we got some carryover from that. Spring Hill got some carryover from that. Columbia got some carryover for that. In the same way now, Shelbyville, Woodbury, Coffee County, Manchester, Tullahoma, those areas are getting the carryover from us. So people can't afford to live in Murfreesboro anymore, and they're going that 30 miles further out. And now I spend a lot of time in Manchester and Tullahoma. I've got offices down there as well. And those people are saying the same stuff we've been saying for years. And what are we supposed to do? We can't afford to live in our area now because all the Murfreesboro people are making our property so expensive. It just keeps rolling down.
So with that, what problems come with the density of building townhomes and apartments? What
So you've got a lot of people on top of each other, and anytime you have a lot of people on top of each other, you're going to have, it's an easier haven for crime. I mean, if you're a person that's got ill thoughts in their head about breaking into cars, and you go to an apartment complex or a townhome complex, just think about how many victims you have sitting right there that you can hit all at one time. In a really high level scope, if they're really, really cheap, and you load up on people that are an abundance of low income, there's usually an abundance of low income in an area leads to more crime as well. So it's a fine line of how do you mix that. You got to put some affordability in there. You got to put some low income mixed with some other people to kind of spread some people around.
So what does the water and the sewer problems come with high density? And
so we've got a sewer issue all around that. I mean, we're almost dumped as much as we can dump into the Stones River, and we're looking at alternatives for that. We're looking how we can expand our sewage base, what we can put in the river, or how do we make it more efficient to put in the river. So we've got sewage capacity issues anyway. So we are constantly looking at how do we upgrade here, how do we upgrade here, how do we upgrade the main source. And so we have a bunch of basins, like 13 or 14 basins, that this basin may be full and this basin may be fine, so we can kind of borrow from over here, we can upgrade here. A lot of people don't know that the Highway 99 corridor last year, we had to stop issuing permits altogether because that basin was totally full. And we're upgrading that basin currently. So it's something that totally has to constantly be watched by water resources about what's going on in that area, what permits are going on in that area, what improvements can we do in that area, do we need to slow down in that area, can we borrow somewhere else in that area. That is a constant watch by the Water and Sewer Department.
So tell folks that don't know what a basin is.
So all the sewage drains into a bucket basically, and then that bucket drains into the main sewage facility. So these basins are buckets. So like in Medical Center Parkway, that's basin 13, I think. So everything kind of flows in Medical Center to basin 13 and then flows further down. So those basins all kind of flow together and then flow to the main capacity.
So when you say how many basins do we have in this community?
I think it's 13 or 14. Maybe somebody can text me from Water Resources and tell me if I'm wrong.
So with that and with the growth, how hard is it to manage?
It's hard to manage. We got to constantly look at it. I mean, I sit on the planning commission too, and that is a question. That is something in every report is, this is where we are with sewage in this area of town. This is where we are with water in this area of town. This is where we are with police, fire, schools on this area of town. So every project that comes through the city, every city department, including public safety and schools, water resources, they all give a report going, yes, this will work or this doesn't work. We can give services to this area. We can't give services to that area. That way we can make informed decisions about what that project looks like.
So let's go to police and fire and EMT.
Absolutely.
How healthy and all of that, do you see our police department, fire department?
So we've been the last 4 years we've made a major effort as far as public safety pay, public safety retention, and public safety recruitment. One of the big things police has asked for years is to get to 4 10-hour shifts that would help with their recruitment and the retention. We launched that about a year ago for the police department. Over the last 4 years, police have got on average about 42% an increase in pay over the last 4 years. Fire about 36-37%. We're actually working on a new comprehensive pay plan for fire as we speak. That'll probably come in front of us at the end of July, 1st of August. Look, everybody wants to be diverse in hiring. Everybody wants to know that they're safe. I want to know if my house is burning down and my family's in trouble, that we got the best of the best of the best responding to that fire and get my family out. And that's what we've been all about the past 4 years, is let's make sure our public safety departments are top notch. Police, fire, EMTs, 911 dispatch. We want those to be the best of the best.
So 14 hours. Why'd they want to go to that shift?
Four 10 hours. So four 10-hour
Yeah.
shifts instead of the 12 and 14-hour shifts they were working before.
Yes.
So it gives them 3 days off a week. They're in and out in 10 hours, and the police seem to be a lot happier with that shift.
I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
You know, my cousin was a fireman in South Side Chicago for years. You know, he worked two days and off 3, 2 days off 3, and he had a second business.
Right.
Because you had to.
Yeah, we're looking at we've looked at fire both. Right now they work 1 off 2. We've looked at working 1 off 3. We've looked at working 2 off 3. Working 2 off 3. So we've looked at several alternatives for fire too, and that's continuation of the study we're doing right now. Is how do we help that recruitment and retention of firemen, not just on pay. I mean, pay is important, but there are also a lot of fringe benefits and other ways we can make these people feel important, feel wanted, and make sure we got the best of the best.
All right, we're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back with Shawn Wright.
The day starts early.
Loaded the sweet corn, the potatoes.
Just before sunrise.
Dad got the fresh cut bacon on there.
Farmers throughout Middle Tennessee prepare their load.
All right, guys, load them up.
Of what they're bringing to the farmers market.
Sounds like we're good to go.
The Rutherford County Farmers Market, a producer-only farmers market at the Rutherford County Lane Agri Park in Murfreesboro.
I'm so glad you guys are back.
We enjoyed meeting our customers.
My daughter loves the sweet potatoes.
Well, thank you.
The Rutherford County Farmers Market open Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 to noon at the Lane Agri Park on John R. Rice Boulevard.
One thing that summer brings is weddings and then anniversaries to celebrate. Come visit us at Bell Jewelers to celebrate those special moments. If you're stumped and don't know what to get your loved one for their anniversary, come visit us at Bell Jewelers and let any of our associates help you with ideas. So it's kind of a cool way to commemorate those amazing years that you've spent together. Come see us at Bell Jewelers, 821 Northwest Broad Street, across from Toots.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Del's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2023. Save 60%. Code 2023. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
It's a hard decision to make, knowing when to sell your home and move to Adams Place.
There's one couple here that I met, and they said it was a lifestyle that they didn't have at home. You have, like, every night dining at a fine hotel. You have the pool. It is so beautiful. Just so much to offer that you won't have in your own home. It's all right here.
Hi, this is Terry Deal at Adams Place. Call me for more information about Adams Place. Phone 615-904-9111. Adams Place.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
You've probably heard it a million times. If you're injured, call a lawyer. And you probably haven't, because you don't know how much it will cost, how long it will take, or even if you have a case. At the law offices of John Day, we provide a free initial consultation because we understand that folks don't want to pay a lawyer only to find out they don't have a case. If you think we can help, we do so on a contingency basis, which means we only get paid if you do. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day.
WGNS encourages you to shop local. Let's patronize our local family businesses. Give the gift of life. The Red Cross is critically low on blood. Our Murfreesboro Red Cross is at 501 Memorial Boulevard. So call the Red Cross and make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. The free Movies Under the Stars, a service of Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department, continues through July the 27th, and the movies start at dark. On Monday night, they're over at Barfield Crescent Park. Thursdays at the Richard Siegel Neighborhood Park, and Saturdays at the Fountains at Gateway. The free Movies Under the Stars. Hey, do you have your tickets for Main Street's Taste of Rutherford? You need to get them. That'll be Saturday night, July the 13th, 6 until 9 at Oakland's Mansion. A Taste of Rutherford features over 25 of Murfreesboro's finest restaurants. You talk about delicious. And it benefits the Main Street Murfreesboro program. Get with Main Street and get your Taste of Rutherford tickets right now. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
Sunny skies here this afternoon. We'll see a high into the mid-90s. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 67. By Tuesday, sunny skies, high 98 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 81.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric, who offers this energy-saving tip during the hot summer months. Nudge your thermostat up, ideally between 76 and 78 degrees to reduce cooling cost. For more tips, go to mte.com/myenergyplan.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into WGNS and the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzer, founder and president of executive director. Sorry, they've changed my title. Executive director of First Shot. In September 25th, we have the Autumn with the Alley. It's our fall fundraiser that funds our STEM program, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We partner with the Boys and Girls Club. If you'd be interested in finding out, you can give me a call at 615-631-5312, and we'd love your support. Again, want to welcome back in Shawn Wright, running for city council, longtime friend, and huge True Blue fan, father, husband, man of God. And I don't think you will say those things about you, but he's raised really three, and now he has a fourth that he's adopted. Three unbelievable young men, and you and your wife done a great job, and we're going to turn towards her a little bit.
Sure.
Teachers. I have a daughter that's a teacher here in Rutherford County. You have a wife. You talk about funding police. How do we, is the pay right? Is the pay need to continue to go up? I know that hits your pocket.
Yeah, it hits my pocket, and I mean, nobody thinks they get paid enough, right? But also, I mean, teachers, what they deal with on an everyday basis is so crazy. I listen to and I wouldn't be where I am without a very supportive, loving wife that's behind me. I mean, behind every great man is an even better woman, and she's spectacular. And I look at the stress that she comes home with. You look at her face, and just having to sit down and having to relax and breathe, just coming, the things that teachers have to deal with now that they never had to deal with before.
Not when we were growing up.
Not when we were growing up. These kids, they think they can run the school. The way they act out, I don't. We have talked many times, and she was a teacher for 20 years with the county, and she finally had to give it up after being beat up by a kid. In one day, she had tallied bit, punched, head-butted, bit, punched, head-butted, punched, or anything, like 178 times in one day by a kid. And she finally comes, I just can't do it anymore. And I mean, don't do it anymore. You don't get paid enough. It's too stressful. Just stop. she's come back to teach now and likes it a lot better where she is. But the stuff that these schools let these teachers get, or let these kids get by with, would have never been allowed before. And some parents let these schools be just glorified babysitters for their kids. Some teachers just, or some parents just don't care about the education. And the adopted son that we have, he had never spent a day in school before we adopted him at 8 years old. He had never spent a day in school. And it's just mind-blowing what parents and guardians, that the idea that education is not important, or that it's a glorified babysitter, or we need to do this or that instead of education. These teachers need to be commended and held to a higher standard and respected a lot more than like they were in the past. And
well, Shawn, I don't know about your dad. My dad walked us boys in to each of our classes the very first day, said you have the right to spank him, and if you spank him, he's going to get spanked when he comes at home. We feared home.
Yeah, that's right.
We knew what that spanking was. Now, all of us turned out okay. There's got to be a balance in corporate punishment versus there's no accountability. Kids can run rapid. And again, I hate it for the teacher because they know they can't do anything.
That's right. And the kids know they can't do anything. And my kids are the same way as what you were saying, how you were growing up. My kids understand if they get in trouble at school, the punishment at home is 1,000 times worse than anything that would happen at home or at school. So they don't act up at school. They're angels.
Yeah, they'll act up more at home. I did,
That's
anyways.
Right. That's right.
But you know, looking back, and my daughter's a teacher. She's in her 17th year of teaching. She's a phenomenal teacher, but at the same time, as a single mom, there's a lot of pressure.
Absolutely.
And financial pressures. You know, she's almost topped out, and she's got another 13 years to get to full retirement in our county system. And I would say probably the city is the same way.
They're very comparable. And Laura and I talk constantly, and I mean, this is the plug for any of you insurance agents. We talk constantly. If something was to happen to me, she doesn't make enough money to support 4 kids and live in Murfreesboro. And so insurance agents, it's your chance. Go sell some life insurance. But this is a concern. And for what they have to put up with now, for the lack of respect that teachers have to deal with now, they're heroes, and they should be treated as such.
Well, again, we're not going to solve all the problems, Shawn, of teachers, firemen, policemen. I think policemen are disrespected.
Absolutely.
As much, probably as much as teachers. We had a healthy respect. We called them policemen. We didn't call them cops and all the other names. We weren't allowed. So, again, getting back to problems that you see facing coming. We've talked about traffic and how you guys, this city council and Mayor McFarland have had some foresight. But with the growth, on Broad here that's going to happen, with what the 2 projects are going to happen, how are we going to handle that growth going forward? What are the next traffic or road problems that you see coming?
So that's where we have to really stay ahead of things. And when we talk about planning, we actually have to plan. We can't just look at a project and go, hey, we don't like the color of that, or we think that needs different shutters, or that project needs a different front door. We need to look at actual planning. How does this, when we're making decisions, we're not making decisions on today or 5 years from now. As city council people and as planning commissioners, we're making decisions for 30 to 50 years from now. And so when we're looking at these projects, we need to be less concerned with what's it look like than how does it affect the commonality of the citizens, and how does it affect people going forward? How does this fit the puzzle pieces of our growth? How do we I know the terminology grow smartly, but it's very important. How does we've got to set a vision and head towards that vision, and how does that project meet that vision?
So I think any decision made, you have positives that are going to come from it, and you've got to see what the negatives are going to come from.
Absolutely.
And you got to weigh both, and that's what you're saying here. You're not just what it looks like.
That's right.
But how's it going to affect us adversely and positively, and do the positive outweigh
That's
the negatives?
Right. And we, as council members, we've got to be willing to say no. Not every project's good. And there's some yin and some yang. There's some pushback and come. It's okay to say no. It's okay to look at a project and go, you know what, this just doesn't fit the area. We had a project come through on Haynes Drive about 2 years ago that it was a good looking project, and if it would have been downtown, it would have fit downtown perfectly. But on Haynes Drive, it just didn't mesh with the neighborhood at all. It came through at 8 units on a little over an acre, or a little right at an acre. And we're going, this is a good looking, I mean, these are good looking houses, but they don't fit where they're going. So we said no. And we got it cut down to 4 houses. And the 4 houses that are built now look spectacular. They fit in with the road. But the council had the foresight to say no. And we've got to continue looking at projects like that and go, okay, this project just doesn't fit, and it's okay to say no. And everybody can move forward and be happy.
So when you go, let's go back to the trash. I think that's a bigger problem what people really realize here. I think sometimes we, like I said to you off air, we put some blinders on to what's going on around us. You know, to get to this private partnership with public, tell us how that all came about and how it's really going to look going forward.
So a lot of people complain, and I was one of them, that the council doesn't take any, they just keep kicking problems down the road. They get that can and just keep kicking it. Well, when you knew that Middle Point landfill was coming to a close, it's got a year, 2 years left at this point. Well, we can't wait until the Middle Point landfill is closed before we can go, oh no, we've got to do something. So we knew for a fact we had about 4 years at the point when we started looking at alternatives at the city level for our citizens to handle their trash. The county was going one direction, city's going a different direction, but that's always a service that the city's provided, and anybody that's lived here forever, we kind of take it for granted that our trash is getting picked up. You drive around the country, there's a lot of places that they got to figure out where their trash is going, and we've been able to take that for granted, that we put our trash out on trash day and somebody picks it up and takes it somewhere. Well, the place that trash was going, we knew for a fact had a finite day when that was going to fill up. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to find an alternative to Middle Point landfill, and we wanted to find an alternative that had a green aspect to it, that had some recycling built into it, had some renewable energy built into it. A lot of people don't know, we've got a lot of calls about curbside recycling. Did you know that if this curbside recycle comes through, picks up a bunch of cans, and let's say one of those cans had a bottle of Coca-Cola in it that still had Coke in it, they can't recycle that anymore. They have to dump that entire trash truck of recyclables into the landfill anyway, because that was tainted recyclables. Or let's say there was a piece of non-recyclable in that truck that was supposed to just have recyclables in it. They can't just sort it. They have to trash that whole entire truck. So when people have curbside recycling, they think they're being green. They're thinking they're doing the right thing by recycling. Well, most of those trucks still end up in the landfill. They don't end up recycled. So one of our goals is to make sure our alternative did have a recyclable component, that did have a green component, and there's going to be a mechanical and a human factor that's going to be sorting this trash and pulling the recyclables out and then putting the rest through the machine. And so that was our goal. It looks like we've achieved that goal with Waste Away, and it's not going to be a landfill anymore. You're not going to have to worry about a smell. It's going to be totally contained in an industrial building. And the whole entire process lasts about 35 minutes. From the time that truck gets dumped till the process is over, 35 minutes.
So there's no segregating your trash. You're just going to put it all in one thing, and they're going to...
Just like today, you put your trash can out to the street, the city picks it up just like we do today. The city trash truck pulls into a building, and you know that there's zero air rooms where the door comes up, the air is going to blow down, the truck will drive in. basically pour its load onto a conveyor belt. People will start sorting it. The little laser will tell you, hey, that's recyclable, that goes over here, that goes to the landfill, everything else goes in here. And 35 minutes later, we have renewable energy, we have recyclable, we have 10% going to the landfill, and there is no trash storage on this facility at all.
And that's all done on city property.
All done on city property.
Unbelievable.
And
what is the name of the company we're partnering with?
Waste Away. And to tell you how much that a major corporation is not worried about the smell or the aspects of this, Buc-ee's has known about this facility the entire time they've talked to the city of Murfreesboro, and they're still opening their facility directly across from this Waste Away facility. They'll be direct across street neighbors.
Well, now we know where it's going.
That's right. Corner of Butler Drive and Joby Jackson.
So we're going to take our final break and be right back with Shawn Wright, running for city council. Re-elect Shawn Wright.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Because you want to hear bacon and eggs on your outdoor griddle, not the scraping of rust. Introducing the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle. Stays ready, not rusty, with a carbon steel cooktop, pre-seasoned and ready to cook on right out of the box. The Weber Slate heats evenly edge to edge up to 500 degrees. All you'll hear is the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
At Bud's Tire Pros, we sell all major brands of tires, and we invite you to stop by today for that next set of tires. Or maybe you need us to check out your vehicle before you head out of town. We offer everything from brakes to batteries, alignments, and more. No appointments necessary, just stop on by.
I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
If you want to get some barbecue, I'll tell you how to do it. Head for the Slick Pig and you're into it. Just walk through the door at 1920 East Main and your nose will send a message right to your brain. Say, smells good. And barbecue. Slick Pig. They got ribs and beans. Got spicy wings. Slick Pig.
A Murfreesboro tradition. 1920 East Main.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into WGNS and the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzer, founder and executive director of First Shot. I welcome back in Shawn Wright, running for city council. We're going to shift gears a little bit and go and talk about how do we attract jobs, high-paying, white-collar jobs to Murfreesboro.
So that's what Murfreesboro wants to attract. And we've got a lot of people don't know this, the TVA has a lot of power in recruitment of employment. So we've got to work with a combination of Murfreesboro government, the Chamber of Commerce, our partners at the county and our other municipalities in the county, the TVA, the state of Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee Electric. We've got to build a good team with all of those parties involved to get those jobs that we want here. All fair, you had talked about Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's pays their employees spectacularly. I mean, you may think about Buc-ee's being a travel destination or a gas station. You look at what they pay their employees. The guy cleaning the bathrooms makes over $20 an hour to clean bathrooms. They start out like the lowest remedial job there makes $18 or $19 an hour. Their general manager makes $250,000 for a gas station. So that is high paying
Managers
jobs.
are over 100.
Managers are over.
It's a really, really good, attractive job to me because it touches all aspects of it.
That's right. I mean, we don't need to be recruiting jobs that make $12, $13 an hour. Those people can't even live here.
No.
So why are we going to go out and recruit jobs that we know for a fact as soon as they get here they're not here? We've got to be able to recruit a job that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be white collar. It could be blue collar, but an $80,000 to $100,000 a year job needs to be what we're looking for or more. And that's what we should be searching out. And we have to get where that unit of people and those people I talked about earlier, we have to be cohesive in wanting to go after the same amount of things. We can't just look at this and go into job's a job, and that's good for us. A job is not necessarily good for anybody. If you're bringing in a job that's making $12 an hour, first of all, their employees can't work here. Second of all, that means they're going to have to recruit from some kind of surrounding county, and now those people have to commute, so that's an added expense for that employer to figure out how to get those people here. They've got to pay them enough to be where they can drive in.
Well, and it also adds to our traffic problem.
That's right.
So, you know, moving forward again, you have this partnership. You know, obviously you have this. How do we then? What are some people that we're trying to court right now? Can you talk about it?
There's one that I would love to talk about that I can't, but it could be major for the whole. And our people in Nashville, it's kind of a blow off from them, but. That one could be major economic boom for the whole area, but I can't talk about it, so I'll leave that as a cliffhanger. Stay tuned. But we're all trying to work a certain direction, and it's just like we've talked about planning and schools and public safety and everything. We've got to set a vision, and we've actually got to target that vision and figure out what we've got to do to get there, instead of whatever comes next saying yes to. It's okay to say no. Set the vision. And every move you make needs to be going towards making that vision come true.
Shawn, I'm going to give you the next couple of minutes to ask people for their vote, and why should they vote for you?
Look, I'm a born and bred boy. I have no desire on serving anywhere above the city of Murfreesboro. The city of Murfreesboro is my home. It's my community. The city of Murfreesboro has been great to my family over generations and generations, and still to today. This is my way of giving back. I love the city of Murfreesboro. I love serving the city of Murfreesboro, and I humbly ask you for your support and your vote on the August 1st election. Early voting is July 12th through the 27th. Voting day is August 1st. And go to electshawnwright.com if you want some more information.
Well, the other thing, we got the League of Voters tonight.
6 o'clock. City TV, city Facebook page. It'll be televised. We've got the Fire Union Forum on Wednesday as well, so there's lots of opportunity to hear the 5 candidates. You get 3 votes, so I just hope I'm one of them.
Well, again, I think it's up to us as citizens to make an informed decision. And if you don't know who's running, then it's your fault. I mean, I think we take things for granted. Voting is one of them.
That's right.
And again, Shawn, I want to say thank you for serving, because you're in a thankless job. My dad was a county commissioner for 20 years back home in Indiana. He got more hate calls than he ever got. Hey, thank you for running. Thank you. So I'm going to say thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
And I wish you the very best of luck. My last shameless plug for First Shot will be this. Again, we have the Autumn with the Alley. It supports our STEM program that we partner with the Boys and Girls Club. We serve over 300 kids a week in our STEM programs throughout our county. Smyrna and Murfreesboro. And again, just want to thank you in advance. If you could give me a call, 615-631-5312. Again, the Women's League of Voters is tonight, 6 to 7. You can hear all 5 candidates talk about why they should be elected. And again, I hope it stays, Shawn,
I appreciate
civil.
that. Yeah, I hope it stays civil too, and it should. I mean, we're in a city council race. There's no reason for anything to get ugly, and everybody needs to understand this. Everybody knows who their president is, who their congressman is. They don't make decisions that you know about that affect your day-to-day lives. Everything that we do at a local level, whether it be city council, county commission, school board, it's stuff that affects your daily lives every single day, every single minute of your lives. Be informed, vote for the people that align with you the best.
Yep. Again, I want to thank Shawn Wright for coming in to the round table, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thanks, Andy.